right, everybody, welcome back to the Absolutely Unnecessary podcast. Got a bit to update you on. Nice little quick podcast today. We'll start with Rogue on Sunday night.
Yeah, it was a great show. Got a few novice, amateur, and pro bouts on the card. Headlined by Joey, who did really well.
Yeah.
So Andrew Mills, tough as hell. Was pushed Joey all the way.
To take the damage he took to his leg in the first round and then almost look unfazed by it.
Yeah, like he didn't have much of a limp.
It definitely took away some of his movement, I think, but it didn't. You couldn't tell that from the outside looking in because he just kept coming forward.
Yeah, and he managed to secure a couple of takedowns. And then Joey got up, but Joey gave his back. I was nervous for the way he got up a couple of times. So did really. I mean, obviously we can probably say it now, but Joey had staph surgery to 10
2
days
weeks out. Yeah, he had to get anaesthetic because he wouldn't go under for the surgery, so they had to stab it with anaesthetic like 12 times or something.
Yeah, so it was a bit of a mess, and we're hoping he didn't get teeped in the guts too much. And Andrew Mount had a really good left liver kick in that last round.
Yeah, and a knee in the first round.
Yeah,
knee that went straight into the bottom part of his stomach, and I thought,
that's gonna split it. Yeah. So, but it was a great fight. Actually, it was a really good fight.
Really good fight. I think it was a good step up in competition for Joey. And Andrew said, look, I'm going to take him to deep water. And it was like, all right, let's see what happens when Joey gets there. Because I think it would be fair to say that majority of Joey's opponents, there's been a massive skill differential.
Yeah.
And Andrew took him to deep water, and it was pretty clear that Joey was there for it, right in that third round. Even when he was a bit tired and probably lacking a bit of that condition that he'll have in most fights, he was great.
Yeah, no, he did good. Hats off to both of them.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Andrew Mills, one of the all-time good guys of MMA as well.
Yeah, of course.
He kind of is in that vein of like the Cal Potters and those kind of guys who you can't help but like him.
Yeah,
such a nice guy.
And he's fought everyone.
Yeah,
like he's not taken. I mean, he was originally on one of the earlier road cards scheduled to fight Kit, wasn't he?
He was on our title fight. He got staph in his thumb. It was pretty bad. So yeah.
It's funny. I didn't realize it was staph because obviously that's what Joey. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Then we had Andrew Carrey versus Amrahan Hakimoglu.
Yes.
From Turkey, and there was a good portion of the Turkish community showed up to that event.
Yeah.
That was pretty exciting. It was good. It was good. I actually sat in on the commentary booth for that one, and it was one of those fights where you actually feel a little bit of electricity in the crowd and in the air, and the walkout, and then they were mouthing at each other, and they'd been mouthing at the weigh-ins, and you just felt like, oh, this is actually a fight. Like sometimes you can get lost in the
combat sports.
Yeah, in the athleticism of it, and you forget that. But in that one, that wasn't the case at all.
Yeah. No, it was great. He was video in the lead up, fantastic too.
Yeah.
I did love all
in
that.
My eyes.
Yeah. Look, brother, I not lie.
Yeah.
And he backed it up.
Yeah.
It was really good. I thought he was a really good entertainer and keen to get him. I mean, I did like some of the Instagram comments on the Rogue page, the wish.com Hamzat and all those things and stuff.
And he's got on the mic, and he's obviously second language English, but I think we can guarantee he has called out Sean Etchell.
Yeah.
Which I will definitely put that fight on Rogue if Sean will take that fight, if Amrahan will take it. We've got to talk to both coaches and stuff, but that would be an exciting fight, I think. I think
it's a big step up for him.
It's a huge step up. Like, I think he probably, maybe needs another couple.
Was that his second pro fight?
Yep.
Yeah. But he said in his thing he was Sambo world champion and other such things. I don't know whether that maybe is lost in translation as well.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, I think because his submission grappling comp that he'd won the ADCC thing was an ADCC sanctioned event in Turkey, and I believe he won the beginners or white belt division. Like, I think he's only competed at white belt in grappling.
Yeah, well, he got one stripe on his white belt after that fight.
Yeah,
that's what Barack had given him. But yeah, and there's other fights out there for him as well, and but it was interesting. I think he said me and Sean Etchell on Contender Series, and then that was a miss translation. I think he said Sean fought on Contender Series. I want to fight Sean.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
But Sean didn't fight. He fought in the Road to Asia thing.
Similar thing, I suppose. Yeah. But yeah, Amrahan was awesome. Then into the amateurs. I think the quality of amateurs is just gone up so steeply in the last sort of 5 years. Like it's just been such a steep curve. Because if you look, let's start at the very bottom, Kwame and Mac. That was such a good fight. Yeah. Like that was such a good fight for two guys who have both been training under a year, both, first fight. And then the top of the amateur card, Khan and Leon, both of those guys, like they were really quite technical, and you could see them trying to figure each other out and go a little bit deeper into their skill set. Whereas, 5 years ago, our amateur scene just might not have had that. It might have been a lot more.
Khan versus Leon 5 years ago would have been mid to upper pro card, I reckon. Like
for sure.
For the level.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And so, obviously you had Sheamus get the finish on Mina, which was good. Jet Fisher obviously out-grappled Julian fairly quickly. Kwame and Mac was a great back-and-forth fight. Look, Kwame obviously fought well, but Mac got a very deep rear naked choke on one stage late in that third round, and I was like...
Yeah. Shit. I was rolling with Mac last night, and he had a rear naked choke on me, and I kind of was just slipping out to the side. Yeah. Just as I was like, does this feel familiar, Mac? And he was like, oh, shut up, man. Shut up. Like, it was just PTSD for him.
Yeah. Oh, he had that deep. Yeah.
He said he just had nothing left to squeeze.
Yeah.
So he was trying.
He actually had it done and locked, and he just managed to then regain and peel the second hand and whatever else. But it was probably just he didn't quite have the squeeze to put him to sleep. But I would have said technically at one stage it was done. It was done.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Damn.
Anyway, the novice bouts, obviously, Christian.
I did like in that fight, Simon and I were cornering against each other, and the panels for the road cages, you look straight at the opposite coach, and I yelled out to Mac, you got to get a leg to the floor and you've got to get inside his heels. And then I heard about 2 seconds later Simon yell, keep his legs inside your heels. Keep your feet under his thighs. And I look up and Simon's just looking straight at me, smiling. I was like,
I tried to get Matt questioning.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
And Sheamus and Mina, I was out the back warming up that fight. Sheamus just got the better of him in the striking. Is that right?
Yeah, just sort of caught him with a big punch and jumped on him.
Left hand? From Southpaw?
Yeah. Yep. Just I think went like cross hook.
Right. Yeah. Cool. And then we had...
I think it's Sheamus' first knockout. He was just grinning like a Cheshire cat. Like, when we walked in, he was like, did you see that? Yeah. Did you see that?
And he's been strutting around at the gym all week. He's wearing his MA1 camo pants and just like hoodie on, bit of a strut about him.
Yeah. And also going up from featherweight to welterweight. And like, I'm knocking dudes out at welterweight.
It was the fastest transition from featherweight to welterweight that I have ever seen. And it's not like a featherweight guy who got fat and became a welterweight. He genuinely just got bigger and bigger, and he's not in great shape. He's not tip top.
Let's be honest, he's not that. He's gone from featherweight to welterweight without putting on an ounce of muscle.
Yes, he has. He's way bigger.
I don't know. I think he's structurally just a bit bigger. I mean, he's also gone from vegan to eating meat, so he's gone from malnourished.
Right. There you go.
And I think it's at featherweight he was shredded.
Yeah, but even he used to do big cuts to featherweight, like silly cuts.
That cranium's never going to get to featherweight again. He's got a fair size head on him.
Yeah, big head.
So
then we had Ash from Absolute versus Michelle from the Ring Gym. Now that one was on paper, went about exactly as you thought it would. Michelle, props to Michelle. She couldn't get a Muay Thai fight for pretty much the whole back half of the year. She was trying to look for like maybe a caged Muay Thai fight in the little gloves or whatever. Nothing came through for that. And I sort of almost as a joke just floated it to her and said, do you want an MMA fight? And she said, I just want to compete. Like I need something to do. I'll do it. And so she jumped him against Ash, who's 3 fights in the last 6 months and had won all of them. Yeah. And coming off a good win against a good opponent not that long ago. And Michelle went, fuck it, I'll do it, and jumped in. And we did like 5 or 6 20-minute sessions at the end of our Muay Thai classes where I'd show her like, yeah, try this to get off the wall or try this to stand up. And it's just anyone who trains knows it's just nowhere near adequate enough. But to go in there and have a crack and try and get some stuff off, good on her.
And look, and to be fair, it's the first time Ash has not only prepared grappling defensively. So it's the first time we've ever said try and shoot.
Yeah, and I think that's about as good as Ash has looked. Like, obviously, the more often you fight, the more comfortable you get in there and stuff. But, like, if you look at the Ash that showed up to the Taylor fight and the Ash that showed up to this fight, there's such a huge gap.
Yeah, look, and I think Michelle probably, if you put Michelle and Ash in a kickboxing fight, and Michelle will murder Ash. Look, no disrespect there, Ash, but the fact the threat of the takedown obviously evened it up, and Ash looked to be holding her own on the feet. It doesn't mean she's good there, but obviously when you mix in the potential of a takedown, and
you're worried about it, for sure. Yeah. So and then we had some novice fights. People coming through the fight camp. We're doing another fight camp in January.
Yeah, correct. So I can't remember the exact. It's the second or third week of January. So I think we're looking to run one in St Kilda and at Collingwood.
Yeah, so that would be great.
I'm going to give a shout. I'm just looking at the thing because I was in Fraser Brown's corner. And no disrespect to Vianney, but Fraser Brown got robbed. So shout out to Fraser.
Wow. So that fight, I was doing the medals, and I would look over at the guy who's doing the guy from the board who's doing the timer, and I grabbed the medal and I said, "Well, we don't need the third for that, do we?" Because it was so obvious that Fraser had won the first 2 rounds. Yeah. And then I get up and they go, Greg looks at me and goes, "Yeah, it's done, 2 rounds." And we go in the ring and the board nods. And then somewhere between then, the board goes, "No, it's 1 round each. We got to go to a third." And I was genuinely shocked. I looked at you and I was like, what do you mean there's a third round here? Yeah. I'm like, I like Vinnie. But Vinnie even said to me, they were standing there waiting to raise their hands. And Vinnie said to me, "Man, I wish I just could have done more. I just didn't do anything." Yeah. And then they're like, "We're going to a third." I'm like, "Here's your chance, Vinnie." Yeah. So you get to go now.
Well, I thought Fraser got the third as well, to be honest.
Exactly.
So I thought, mate, he's pretty hard done. And I think it's also just that whole, I mean, they both do a few of my classes, but Fraser probably does a bit more. And it was just like, he was just much undersized too. Like, completely undersized. I think Salman and Dylan were just trying to make the biggest height mismatches they could for shits and giggles. It wasn't the biggest height mismatch. I think Stephen Rowe versus James in the next fight. There was at least a foot difference in height there.
The best was when they announced they were going to the third. It was so audible. You heard Fraser go, "Oh fuck!" He was so upset that he had to fight another round.
Because I think he then went, "Fuck, you're kidding me, right?"
Yeah. I was like, "You fucking for real?"
Yeah. So it was funny.
Good as.
Anyway. All right. Well,
what else are we recapping?
So
have we spoken since Hex?
No, we haven't. So we have the whole November we haven't spoken since Bushido. The boys went 3. I think we went 3-1 on Bushido. Yeah.
So Harry
won against Gurab, who was obviously previously from the gym. Now look at the spelling that Josh is shot.
He's had 2 beers.
What are you? What are you? It's not even close enough to recognise what you're trying to get.
What are you doing?
God, this is
BUSHIDO. No, what's the C for? It's not.
This is painful.
I literally spelt it out loud for you. All right, Dylan Lahari.
Dylan was very slick.
Yeah, was it T Kimura type setup?
Yeah, so he transitioned through T Kimura to the back to the armbar.
That was nice. Then go down. All right, who else was on the card? Harry. So Harry fought.
Harry won.
I heard Harry fought, and then after the fight, he got called out by the guy he just beat. Again, said he wanted to fight him again.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So I don't know about that.
Yeah, he can move on from that one.
Yeah. And then who else did we have?
We had Caleb. I was going to say Caleb Ryder. No,
Caleb Lyons.
Yes. He got out grappled.
Tough kid though, isn't he, Caleb?
I think Caleb's still going to be very good.
Yeah.
He just, got a tough one.
Needs some time. Fight. And then the last one was...
Well, it was Harry, Dylan. This obviously looks really bad now that we can't remember straight off. Mason.
Mason. Yeah. Mason fought the kid from Bendigo.
Yeah. Correct. And he handled him pretty. And props to Mason jumping in.
3 or 4 days notice.
2 days, I think.
Yeah.
Likely.
Yeah. Good on him.
Yeah.
And then Mason lost his fight Sunday as well.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a rough chop there.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. It's on the side there, on the right hand side. All the decisions.
All right, cool. Well, that's the Bushido wrap, and then I think we had the Hex. Oh, we had Salt
Fight Series. Larry versus Ricky.
Larry did really well first round, and then got really tired, and
and his back was fucked.
Yeah, he couldn't move, couldn't kick, and all that going in, so he was a bit underdone.
Yeah,
and I think maybe the fact that he was underdone made him a little bit more
nervous. This is just a thing because it's happened to me with someone I've coached before. There's an element of fighting and training where you need to try not to complain and you just need to shut up and do the work, right? And that's inarguably an important thing for you to learn how to do. But it's important for young amateurs and, even some younger pros to learn the difference between complaining about being nothing and when you're injured.
Yeah.
And
100%.
There's one thing to go, I don't want to train. I'm a bit sore. I'm a bit this. It's very different to walk up to your coach and say, hey, I'm worried about this injury, or I've got this going on and I'm worried about it and it's affecting my ability to train.
Yeah.
And then coming up with a plan together or figuring out a way around it. Because, I had a guy who I was coaching and his shoulder was hurt and he was so worried that I would pull the fight from him that he trained through it for 6 weeks and I could tell it was hurting him, but he would just sort of go, nah, it's all right.
Yeah.
And then he fought with it. And then now he's been off for nearly a year because he did so much damage just trying to get through that fight. Whereas if I had known how bad it was, I probably never would have let him even keep training. I would have said, let's just push it back 6 months.
Yeah.
Just get it fixed and we'll go again. And then I think Larry probably kept it Larry's just not that guy. He just doesn't complain. He'll just shut up and do the work. And he probably could have done with speaking to someone and trying to find.
Yeah, it felt horrible on the day because I was like, kick, and he's like, I can't kick.
Yeah, can't kick.
Yeah, I can't move. And I was like, that's.
Yeah. But, credit to Ricky. Ricky showed up a lot bigger than he's ever been.
Sure.
And I think that's a credit to the fact that he's put in a lot more work and taking it more seriously than he ever has. And he's always been tough as.
Yeah. I knew I didn't want it to go 3 rounds. 100%, I was hoping.
Yeah, for sure. Who else do we have on Salt? We had Kim. Kim fought Taylor. Kim fought really well.
Yep.
Again, those girls, Kim, Ash, Taylor, Sam, have done a full round robin now. I think all fought each other once. And, they're all doing really well. It's lucky that those girls have each other because some girls really struggle to find.
Put Ash in that. Ash, Sam, Taylor, Kim.
That's what I said.
I thought you left Ash out, but
no, I didn't.
Okay.
You two both had 2 beers.
What do you think, Josh?
I didn't leave him out. No.
Who asked you?
And then we had Ash also fought.
Rob
Pell fought, my boy.
Yeah.
That was good. Good.
Have you forgiven him for stealing your gloves?
I forgive him. I've forgiven him. We made up and we walked out there together and got it done.
Yeah.
Against Dave, wasn't it?
Against Versace Dave.
He had a fair crowd.
I really liked Versace.
Versace Dave. He gets the crowd up and about. So I made a point of it to grab Rob because you can kind of tell when somebody's a bit. And I made a point.
Well, Rob had been out for a while too. So.
Yeah, he hadn't. And I said, hey, when he walks out, they're going to go mental. I said, they're going to go nuts. So just be ready for that. And then when he walked out, he was like singing and it was like you were at a Cursor concert. And I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And Rob was there for it. So I was happy with that.
No, he didn't walk out to Cursor this time. He told me he needs to do it next time.
Oh, really?
That's his thing.
Who was it though? He walked out to another like 1-4 or HP boys or like some
Aussie drill rap, he said.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that. And then we had...
So I'm just trying so we don't miss anyone from Salt. Rob, Ash, Kim, Larry. Was there a 5th?
Don't think so. Okay. Then we have Hex. Hex was, fair to say, Hex is back.
Yeah. I thought the production and even everything they had out the back and everything like that, it was really well done.
The way they treated the fighters, the way they had the venue set up, the attention to detail for the smaller things was brilliant. So credit to Hex and the new guys running that. You guys are killing it. And hopefully we just see more good shows like Hex popping up.
For sure.
So we had Randall Ray versus Greg Hearn in the main event. Randall Ray, it was supposed to be against Ben Sassoli, but he had a bit of a illness in the family, and him and his family had to shoot straight to New Zealand on pretty short notice. So hope everything's going all right there for Ben, and maybe we get to see Randall Ray versus Ben at the next X. Kit Campbell versus Greg Atsori. I spoke to Greg out there, and I didn't even know he was fighting until the night of the fight. I think he weighed in remotely from Queensland.
Yeah.
And I said, Greg, what are you doing here? Like, he'd been retired for years. He goes, they rang me. I said, are they at least paying you a bag of cash? And he's like, yeah, they're paying me a bag of cash. And I was like, oh, fair enough. And he's an old school guy. And
I thought he put up a fight too.
Put up a real good fight. And that's what Greg, even before Greg retired, remember he did it to Lance Edier, he did it to Aiden Aguilera.
You can't sleep on him.
Yes, these young guys were coming up who would sort of be ready for it and ready to go, and he'd just kind of wear them down, get them tired, then he'd take their back and he'd choke them out. So, good on Greg. It was good to catch up with him and see him, actually, and hope everything's going well back up north for you, Greg. Then we had Sean Gauchi. Sean Gauchi's return back as a bantamweight now, not a flyweight, and 15, 16-second KO. I think it was. Not too much to say about that one. He was just a really nice slip inside right hand over the top counter. Yeah. Khan versus Ernie Braca. Ernie came out ready to just bang. Yeah. Ready to bang. And Khan was just a little bit too smart and calculated, took him down.
Yeah. And then Khan initially engaged. Me and Raja were in the corner going, don't bang. Yeah. Because Ernie got him fired up and was talking crap across the cage. And
but then you could see Khan was settling, and you could see his experience a little bit. He was throwing his ground and pound punches, and then he was backing up to let Ernie come into the choke. So he was giving him space for him to dive in, and then he would get the choke, and he ended up cinching it up and getting there. Was it a power guillotine or an arming guillotine, or was it actually an anaconda? So
no, it was a guillotine.
It was a guillotine, yeah. It was nice anyway. Luke Catterbig versus Josh Riley. It's a little bit of a controversy on that stoppage, where I think it was a great stoppage. I think if your hands go up and you sit to the floor against the cage, it's the number one thing you can do to tell the ref that you're not there anymore. Yeah. So whether he was rocked or not, the optics of it, looking from the outside in, it looked like you covered up, dropped down to the ground. That's saying you don't want to be there anymore. So, if whether you were rocked or not, I just think that.
Yeah, look, it looked like obviously on slow motion replay,
nothing hit him. Nothing hit him. So it's unfortunate.
But he was sort of in a flurry and kind of fell, and it looked live. It looked like, he's done. But slow motion it didn't, and then he obviously bounced up. So the thing
about why they're so clear to you on intelligently defending yourself is that referees don't have the benefit of a slow-mo replay. They've got to make the decision on the spot. And that was it. Yeah. Semicardo fought Sam. A good example of needing to be able to show up on your worst night, because it doesn't get any worse than that for Sam. He was so sick. Yeah. He was so sick, like not himself at all. No. And ended up, for the 3 or 4 days after the fight, he was in bed, crook. Yeah. So.
No, he did well to get through. I was very thankful to see him get through.
Yeah. Lisa and Mary Jane. Lisa came out and Lisa did her thing. She's getting better every fight. It's sort of where to next for Lisa is the question.
Well, I think maybe the Hex title versus Amina in February.
Oh, well, that would be great. I think that's a really good fight.
Yeah. So I think, look forward. It'll be a tough fight, but a real 50-50 sort of thing. So
yep, cool. Love that.
Yeah.
Jamie Spawn and John O'Mickliffe. That was a great fight.
Yeah,
really good fight.
Moment.
Yeah. Jamie, good grappler. Jono pretty well rounded, and he goes up to 2-0, and
Jamie, Jono just seemed to have a bit more in the gas tank.
Bit more in the tank, a bit more, and a little bit more polished on the feet.
Yeah.
Like he seemed just a little bit more balanced.
Yeah.
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 And then Ailish versus Olivia.
Ailish gets her first pro win. So
pro debut, so she would have been wrapped. Yeah, and that's Hex.
Oh, sorry. What are we
looking? Now 5:30.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Is Khan in tonight?
I believe so.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, because we've got the comedy thing. Yeah, they've got we can do a UFC 282 breakdown next time he's in or something.
Yeah, cool.
It's probably getting a bit old too.
I'll have to do the preview for 284 soon.
28. Is there an 8-3 in the middle?
Oh, right, I assume so.
Where's
I
that?
don't skip numbers.
Yeah. Well, you just did. Anyway,